Hey, welcome into the Broadcast Brothers. I'm Justin Feisago. This is Joe Naholava. And how you doing today, Joe?
Good, brother. I'm really liking our intro music.
Yeah, man.
We got
It kind of gets you in the mood, huh?
Yeah, it really sets the tone for a fun, kind of chill episode. Shout out to my cousin Kali'i for making that beat for us.
Yeah, right on. Made a couple sounds or a couple little tracks that we use. Yeah.
Tell me about your weekekend. How was your weekend?
I was in the Sierras. Yeah, I was in the Sierras hiking and camping with the kids, and it's good to be in the trees. Like I said, like I always say, to people, having grown up in the mountains are always calling you back. So it's nice to get that spiritual fill,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially this time of year, it's Indian
beautiful
summer.
colors. Beautiful.
It's our summer, I guess, in California. So, right on. But speaking of this past weekend, we had this year's Wahine Moloka'i stream or live race. It was back on. Amazing coverage. Lots of joy. The fact that this race is back. With the Molokai Hoe coming back. But that coverage from Keicho and is it Salt and Air?
Yeah, I think they're connected somehow or another. Or they're hired. I don't know I don't know the relationship, but it was amazing coverage. Like all the cutouts they had, all the preparation work they did was really, really great. And excuse me, I watched all 7 hours on Monday while I was working. I had it on a different monitor, and I watched the comments. And Brad, what made me feel good was the fact that out of all the work those guys did in the Channel Crossing, they got just as much hate as we did doing Catalina.
Yeah, yeah. You can't make everyone happy, even with like a multi-$1,000 production, type of broadcast.
Yeah, right. I think some people just need to read books instead of watch these shows. And it looks like it's the same people commenting too. It's like, right, it's never going to be perfect. Just enjoy it, because this is the first time I've seen really sketchy videos of Wahine and Molokai Hoe, right, which is coming, but I've never seen it like that. And if KHO2 is going to do Molokai Hoe, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic coverage. I can't wait to watch it.
Well, if you think about it too, right? Like they're the local news network, so I was just kind of watching. They did a really good job at just providing you with the scoops as much as as best as they could,
right?
But it seemed like, I guess Salt and Air, they provided the camera, the drone shots, and just the quality of the imaging was just you see like Hanabata's coming out people's nose, stuff like it was just good action, for how the channel this year for the women's race, the Wahine, was kind of on the flatter side. It was pretty small.
Right.
But they still brought the action. So that was it sounds like we're both thoroughly impressed. So
yeah.
Well, it was cool. It was just something. It's just more coverage, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you and I say it all the time. Like, for us, it's rising tides raise all boats, right? So it's like, anybody who wants to put their neck out there and do it, like, I can appreciate it. And there are some that I would say should never do it again. But it's like, guys who try and the guys who do it the right way, or try and do it the right way, and the spirit of the right, of how we paddle and all that kind of stuff, is they should be doing it as much as they can. And like, I'm excited one day to go to Hawaii and do a race there. It'd be fun to do, and anywhere, like, to try, and I think it'd be really fun.
Well, and just a friendly reminder, right? The, what do you call them? The keyboard warriors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. Once the it's not like this setting where you and I can just BS and just say whatever. It's we're following a race. There's just so much. There's a lot of bullets flying, and it's so dynamic. And,
you have to adapt on the fly. Like,
you gotta adapt on the fly, and
gotta have contingency plans. You gotta have everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but they're
we did it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
No. When we did it, right, we had one camera, right, and one drone, and one boat, right, like,
and
it was
4 weeks to try and put it together.
4 weeks to prepare
Yeah.
for it, and we did it for free.
Yeah.
We did it for free, right? And
Yeah.
you still get those, there's gonna be complaints, but the way we see it, right, for us, right, is like, all right, like, it's just, it's room for improvement. Yeah, we factor everything, right? Like, all the feedback, like, yeah, bring it on, like, because it's a learning experience for us, and you got to think that KHON and Sultan Air, they're doing the same thing, and but I mean, shoot, that was an amazing broadcast. Like, what? Not only did they bring the race, but they brought the feeling of the race.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. It was like they really they brought the mana to to the broadcast, and that was very clear. So
yeah, and they brought the right people on to really convey the mono, right? So and hey, I gotta give a special shout out. I don't know who you are, but whoever is the person manning the chat for KHON, you are a champion of like not letting the trolls get you.
Oh,
you
man.
are epic responses. Like, check the you want to see, check the tracker. Like, just push them off to the next. It was fantastic.
What's that saying where it's like water off a duck's back or something?
Yeah, water off a duck's back. Yep.
Yeah. It was pretty much like that. I mean, I didn't get to read any of the comments. I remember
I read them. Yeah. It's too much not to see them, and some of the guys that keep, commenting the same thing over and over. It's like, these guys are putting on a multi-camera, multi-boat, multi-studio production, and it's just not that easy. Even in 40 some odd miles of paddling, it's not easy to get everybody. And they only had 40 some odd canoes. We had 60 something canoes and half the distance almost, right? So
in easier conditions,
Yeah. Right? So I mean, it just so for us, like, I mean, I'm not trying to compare it, but what I'm saying is, as hard as it was for us to do that, I can only imagine what it takes to do what they're doing,
Yeah.
So, but hey, anyways, talking about Molokai Hoe, I know you guys are putting together a California team. I think the only California team that's going to go race Ka'ii Channel this year, right?
Well, so Lana Keela's going. We're bringing. So we got 2 crews.
Okay.
And then on our, and I want to say there's remember the old California Gold team?
Yeah.
The Golden Master men from kind of all over California. I want to say they're going as well. So we got a handful of Lanakila paddlers and I think some Dana Point paddlers on there. And then on our team, we're similar crew to Catalina, but we're swapping out Moses and Rylan for Will and Judson.
Oh,
so yeah, so it's
you're gonna have a fun team. Crew. Yeah. You're a real strong team. Well, you're gonna need it. You're gonna be pushing 400-pounder across the channel, bro. So
yeah, that's been
whole different animal.
It's been special to get back in them. It's
every time we launch. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Marina Del Rey Canoe Club for letting us borrow. They're letting us borrow a couple of their Bradley Lightnings.
Oh, is that what you're gonna race in? Is the Lightning?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know whose canoe we're borrowing, but
right.
But yeah, we're gonna be racing in a Lightning. So, but yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna say every time I rig that old Mirage we have, we put it on the water. It's fun, even though getting it on and off the beach is the worst thing on the planet. Once it's in the water and you get it going, you're like, oh, this is what it's about.
Yeah, try getting it on the water from basically a jetty.
Well, I'll see if I can find some footage of you guys launching those canoes in Redondo. I'll try and put it in right here because it is. You guys do have it harder than most. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any footage either.
I've seen clips. I'll dig one up.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll find one.
Yeah, it's definitely a a workout before and after the workout, the paddling workout.
Yeah. Well, hey, in the light of Na Wahine and Molokai Hoe that is coming, I caught this really nice article or post on Facebook, and I want to read it real quick or part of it, and just so that people can understand how the sentiment is with some of the locals there from Molokai and about the race and hosting the race and completing the race. So just bear with me for a second. I'm going to read this. So it starts out as Na Wahine o Kai. I write this literally away from home with tears in my eyes as I watched each crew cross the finish line at yesterday's Na Wahine o Kai. This huge, heartfelt, emotional relief lifted as I whispered to myself, "We did it. We pulled it off. What many thought would never be done again was done, with intentions of pure, genuine love and aloha." Read that again. The intent is with love and aloha. To see to see and feel all the smiles, tears, hugs, and yes, pain of paddling across the Kaiwi Channel that took its toll on many, but yet still seeing the emotional mana in those Wahine's eyes as they crossed the finish line made it all worthwhile. To each and every one of you, Na Wahine o Kai paddlers, coaches, supporters, Ohana who sacrificed your time so that your wife, mother, daughter could do what she did. To you all, Ho Mai Kai, memories that will last a lifetime. To our island Molokai, this is emotional for me. Mahalo nui loa from the bottom of our hearts for trusting us with this kuleana of perpetuating our traditions and culture of Ohana, Va'a, and keeping us in check to make sure it's done the right way. Thank you for opening your homes, vehicles, ice boxes, and most importantly, mahalo for opening up your hearts and arms to embrace and share that true Molokai aloha. Mahalo pia. So that was written by Kawika Crivello, and we are just so lucky to have this brother joining us today, right?
Oh yeah, he's a beautiful man, just a beautiful representative to not just paddlers, but definitely the people of Moloka'i. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So yeah, let's bring him on.
All right, let's bring him on.
Oh God, you made me cry again.
I'm just glad you could hear us talking because I wasn't sure if you could hear us or not.
Yeah, I heard that and I started dropping tears because pretty vivid still yet.
Yeah.
We're still on an emotional high in that mana of pulling it off, and those wahine, and then just seeing that expressions on the finish line, like you read, made it all worthwhile. So, mahalo for having me to share Moloka'i's story.
Absolutely, yeah. I know we said we were only gonna be on for 5 minutes, so sorry to leave you hanging there for 12 plus minutes.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about earlier, yeah, it's just vola'au.
Yeah, Hawaiian time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like we always say, it would never be a Broadcast Braddahs episode if there wasn't technical difficulties or me forgetting to hit record. That happens too.
Yep. I gotta start this by saying, Kawika recently gave me a friendly reminder that we're family, him and I. So moving forward, it's only right, especially as just respect, but definitely knowing that we're family. I gotta call you uncle. So when we first met, it was Kawika. Back in the day in San Francisco. So I was like, no, he's because and I've always respected you tremendously. But it's only right that I call you uncle moving forward.
I kind of used to that nowadays. Part of Polanikai, and even guys a little younger than me. Hey, uncle. It's like, okay, you gotta wear that hat now. Yeah, it is what it is. So, mahalo.
The brother Joe here knows what that's like. He got called uncle in Hawaii just this year, so he's getting that too.
Yeah.
And that's first one.
It's truly, when you be called uncle anakala in Hawaii or any place, it's truly out of the space of respect,
Yeah.
So, Yeah, we Ohana. Our Ohana goes way back. Um, the Mowat Ohana and the Helm Ohana, and that is my genealogy. My Molokai Hoe is Helm of Moloka'i, and some deep mo'olelo and memories of the Mowat and the Helm Ohana. If you know the Renaissance in the 70s of the Kaho'olawe movement, um, and of course Hokule'a, and that's all blend in with the Helm and the Mowats. They're right in the front line, and standing up for our Lahui, the people of Hawaii, people of Molokai, and kind of set that precedent for us to hold that kuleana, their responsibility, of knowing who we are and what our responsibility is. So, and like I told Joe the other day, is when I see him, when I don't just see him, I see his whole genealogy behind him. So when we're in that space, that aloha goes beyond just aloha, aloha face to face. But not just that, it's the generations behind him as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, special. The Mowats that Uncle was just referring to. So he's referring to my uncle Karl Mowat, my grandmother's brother, and Uncle, I forget who was it. Who was the Helms back? Was it your
George, my
George
mom's
Helm? Uncle. Okay.
Yeah, my mom's brother.
Okay, so both his Ohana and my Ohana on our mother's side are there's relation there, but they used to take boats out to Kaho'olawe and protest the bombing that was taking place from the by the U.S. military.
By the military, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there was a couple of them. There was about 5 or 6 of them, and one of them was my uncle George Helm, and the other was his uncle Karl Mowat, who was in the front lines. So, a lot of people. There's history and there's books that speak about it, and there's songs that was written about it, and it's our
yeah. It's crazy to think that even that wasn't that long ago when that was going on, right? When you think about it in a timeline, like Wahine, okay, Kai, this would have been the 45th year had it not had a break, yeah, I think 79 or 80, 79. Okay, yeah. So this would have been the 45th year had it not been a couple years in the break there, but still 45 years. So during that time that all that was going on too, so that's interesting crossover,
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of historical, when we spoke last Thursday was the Ho'olaulea for all the festivities, welcoming back, both the Nawahine and the Molokai Hoe. Can you take us through the, how the, what that's like, like the fact that the race is back, as someone who, you said earlier, is behind the scenes, helping to support, to put it back on,
right.
Because a lot of people, especially here in the mainland, all they knew was like, that's the big race and it hasn't been going on. So,
right.
Please share.
Right. Our pre-COVID, we started this Kule'a Ho'olaulea concert, and the whole, premise and the intentions were to, my wife and I, was to bring the paddlers and the community to, back in the days when Aloha Week and Molokai Hoe used to happen. It was a celebration not of just the race, but of our Ohana Va'aya and our culture. So the race was a part of the celebration. It wasn't the only thing. So paddlers and community were intermingled. And through the years, as the races started going, there was a break in that. It became just the race. And a lot of times community weren't involved in it. People would fly in, come in the escort boats, go to Halelono, jump on a canoe, and it's a race, and that was, and we came, that separation with the Molokai people and the races became evident to where and more, escort boats. And with Molokai Hoe and Wahine, which was the very core of those races, you started adding the pailolo. You had the one-man races, solo, relay, kayak. So, of course, you see the community. There's escort boats and people, but there was no connection to any of the races. So what we did, and my mom was a councilwoman at that time, the race organizers called us, and myself, including a couple more of the Molokai people, if we could sit down and kind of bring that back, yeah, bring that ohana pa'a back to the community. So started this Ho'olawe, that was just this past Friday night. Pre-COVID, we started it about three years prior to COVID. And what it was is we had Molokai people, block the party stages, top line entertainment. We had, food vendors only from Molokai, and the Molokai people turn out in droves. And a lot of it was a cultural exchange, that mana, that alo, that face to face, that that put a human behind the face of the tablet. And it worked. At first it was maybe a couple thousand, and before COVID, it went up to 4,000, 5,000 people show up, and just at mana, at paddlers, in the community. And here we are. We took a break, and during that break, it seems like logistically and a lot of things have changed. During COVID, airlines, transportation, um, you know. So what we did was we wanted to make sure it's last year. We actually had it ready to go last year, not the and more everywhere. But because of the Lahaina fires and our close proximity to Lahaina and many of the Molokai Ohana that were affected, that live in Lahaina, the organizers, Okra, and ourselves and the Molokai community and leaders said, you know what, not this year. And all that mana that built up over a year, so when we started planning, it was evident that it was going to be special. Yeah. What this got to do with paddling, because of mana, that harness of the Lahaina fires, our Ohana Va'a in Maui, us on Moloka'i, and this past Friday, all that just flowed. And we had Archie Kalepa come over. And share his mana to the Molokai people, to all of them. He's seen a lot of things. Homes burnt, family no longer alive. So for him to come to Molokai, be a part of this opening of the pathway for Molokai Hoe and Wahine, we needed that. We almost needed that permission for him to come, open the pathway of Kawika. It had to come from somebody.
Yeah.
With that invite from Molokai to come as a leader of somebody that, Archie Kalepa, healing of Lahaina, to say, hey, it's okay, let's go, let's open it up again. And, so, Hokule'a was very awesome. The paddlers felt it. Like a lot of paddlers would say, as soon as we touched the island, we knew that this race was going to be special. People of Molokai welcomed them with open arms, showed their aloha, opened their homes, and when Hokule'a started, it was official. Like, here we go. And it just reciprocated through the race.
I wanted to add something. I figured we'd get to this later, but I'm glad we're getting into it now. But the Ka'ivi literally translates to the bone, right? And there's a spiritual connection between Moloka'i and Oahu, right? And the name of that channel, and so kind of teeing off on Archie Kalepa, kind of the permission given to allow this race to happen from Lahaina, and that's the Pailolo channel, right? Am I right about that? Okay,
Yes.
so like this was always something I worried about with Molokai Hoe and Wahine, was that Joe and I talk about this all the time. I feel like some paddlers use it as a, I don't know. I don't want to. I said the word body count earlier, but like sometimes people are like, "Hey, how many times you paddle the channel?" Like it's like a measuring stick, right? Like a conquest, right? And I was always worried. I was worried about that for how Molokai is, because again, people, like you said, they show up, they leave, and that comes with some concerns, I'm sure too. But I'm really, I was, when I read this today, that Facebook post, I was like, oh, bro, this is meaningful, and it's feels like it's back to its origins of what it's supposed to be. Not so much of just like, oh, okay, we're gonna cross the channel this year, and we're gonna add one more to the belt, and that's it. Move along to the next race or whatever.
Yeah. Well, when people, you're right, because Kaiwi channel, that's kind of like set the parameter. Yeah, that's kind of like your badge of honor. And I always say, how many times you did the channel? How many times I paddled the channel, or how many times I raced
the channel? Right.
It's two different things. Yeah, that's two different animals.
That's the question. Yeah.
I've done it 15. I've done it 20 times, and you go, how many times have you raced it? And you go, oh, okay, that's a whole different. Like seriously, how many times have you been on a crew and raced? But it takes away nothing from the ones that also, that dare to paddle it. But it's a totally different channel when you're racing the Kaiwi channel. It requires your full mind attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of if you want to hit the wall. Kaiwi channel is going to drop some elbows on you in different times and different places.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you recover. Yeah. It's how you recover and how you of course, you have the Hawaii canoe, which is the race. But, we always say one body of water that's really challenging is the Kaiwi channel.
Mm-hmm.
That'll challenge. So, yeah, plenty of people use that too. Yeah, bro, how many times you paddled it? I paddled over 20 years, but I raced it maybe 4, 5. That's like when you hit the finish line, you're like, never again. So,
Joe has this really fun, and I think he's onto something. But when it comes down to some of these teams that have a good crossing or win the channel or place or whatever, Joe always says the channel chooses. That's what Joe always resorts to. Every time we talk about the solo, and we talk about the Kiwi solo, and then the Molokai Hoe or now Wahine, he always says the channel chooses, and sometimes it's not. He's not wrong about that. There's something to that, I think.
mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows that. He's done solo, and that's another thing too. It actually preparing for the Molokai Hoe and the Navahine Pukai. We were heavily involved in bringing back also. With Jim Fody and Manny and Mike, Takahashi with the foil. And we're behind the scenes on that too, to sit down with the community and also get their blessings, And I'm fortunate enough to where I can sit down with the community, speak on behalf of the community, and also put on the paddler's hat as a Ohana, and also speak on that one. Also, there's an understanding on both sides. That is, and these organizers, with Jim Fody and Manny, have done the things the right way, which leads up. It's a snowball effect. It leads up to the Molokai Hoe, where the community goes, okay, it's been done the right way, and we're good. Okay, this race is done. You're like, whew, okay, next one. Okay, Jim, you're up. Manny's on just relay. And then you're hoping nothing goes, everything just stays, right before Navahine and Molokai Hoe, so that we don't have all that extra, noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, you got that. I'm sure there's a high level of trust that has to be maintained. There's a level of respect, like you said, from the paddling community as well. So I can only imagine that there's probably a lot involved with that.
and they've done awesome. To all the paddlers out there that that are listening, mahalo nui to you folks. Really, from the one-man races, kayak races, relay races, pailolo one-mans. Every race you folks have been nothing but aloha, nothing but your spirit and your aloha has really set that precedent for everyone to go. Okay, ohana wa, mai kai, not Kawika, let's do another reunion and Molokai.
Yeah, it seems like this is a really lovely reset button, right? It's like, hey, it's back, and want to, watching, going off of the the live broadcasts over the weekend, just even the videos that we got to watch, of certain teams and how they prepared, and in even the commentators, was it Walter Guild and Auntie Malia? I forgot her last name, but I just really enjoyed, their perspective on, they, the term Ohana Va'a, right? It was, people, it's, we all have our families, but it's, the bond you form with your team, training and preparing, like you were just talking about, not just with the organizers, but also, the paddlers that prepared for, this big race, that turns into your family. And,
Coaches,
coaches, yeah, everybody, and I really appreciated to, them speaking on that perspective, and also just even the message that it's not just about the channel, and like you're saying, Uncle, wearing it, wearing the badge, it's about the people of Moloka'i, and
Oh,
um,
yeah.
just the whole, it's I like that it's coming back to a festivity. I mean, some of my favorite memories about the Molokai Hoe was not paddling it. It was, my dad used to take me up to Diamond Head Lookout, and with the binoculars, we would park on the side of the road and just, he would, and just read. Oh, I think that's outrigger. I don't know. There's another red team, and I was like 8 or something, and
Right.
I just, and that's one of my favorite first memories about the channel, even though, I was just this kid who just loved the story of it, right?
Right.
And I'm just to have you on with us, and just to get your perspective on, the back end of it, and we just can't thank you enough. I mean, I know there's we I want to, I'd love to hear, I know you spent time on the Hokule'a,
Mm.
with Nainoa Thompson. I know you get plenty stories, but what is the one that sticks out the most?
Oh. One Cravey channel. One of the first times that I voyaged, and this is back in the early '90s. Young. First time I went on Hokule'a, it was from Pokai Bay to Mauna Loa Bay, and then from Mauna Loa Bay to Molokai. So on the canoe, I was the youngest by far, and there was Rel Sun, Buffalo Keolana, Nainoa Thompson, Bruce Blankenfeld, Auntie Penny, Rollins at that time. You had a lot of the first voyagers that were on the canoe, and I was the only one by far that was invited as appeal. And I remember when we pulled into Mauna Loa Bay, Hawaii Kai, Mauna Loa Bay, we anchored, and next morning we were to go to Molokai and take Hokule'a across. And Nainoa came up with his Radin escort boat, and he called me as I was setting the anchor with a couple other people, and he goes, Kawika, come come with me. And I jumped on. I jumped on Nainoa Thompson's boat, just he and I. And I didn't know where we were going. And this is one of the first times that I actually shoulder to shoulder with him, because it was my first time. And though we've had many group moments of teaching, navigating, and whatnot, I've never really had one-on-one with him, especially out in the ocean on boat, just he and I. And this goes hand in hand to Molokai Hoe and all you paddlers up there. I went out with Nainoa Thompson, just he and I, and we were about maybe a quarter mile or a mile off of Makapu'u, and he turned the engine off. And up on a bow, he had me walk up in a bow, and we both were bouncing around and quiet, and it was in the evening. And he goes, tell me what you see. And I look at him, and we're looking at the horizon, and you can see like a northeast that I'm looking at. And I look, and of course, I do all my readings. You know, okay, you got aina noyo manu na leo na maka. And I'm okay, winds are just a little cool, and I go, winds coming from northeast. And, you know, we use all of the Hawaii, which is Akau coming from north, Kina coming from east, coming from La Aina Noyo, coming from the position of Noyo. And in 3 days it's going to rain. I tell him that because of the temperature of that northeast, the temperature of the coolness, and what I see in the horizon. And there's a dead silence. And real quick, you know, I'm looking at him, and he's just staring out in the horizon, and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say whether I'm wrong or right. He just doesn't say anything. And here's my hero, my idol, you know, Nainoa Thompson, out in the middle of the Kawika Channel, and he doesn't give me the okay. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I got it right. You know, I read everything. And he tells me, close your eyes and tell me what you see. Close your eyes and tell me what you see. And I'm thinking as a young, you know, a little bit, you know, feisty and ego, you know, I'm like, close my eyes. I don't, you know, I kind of get it, but I don't. And so how am I supposed to see with my eyes closed? But he tells me, close your eyes. Tell me what you see. And I close my eyes. And within a minute or so, it seemed like it lasted for 5-10 minutes, but a couple minutes. See, my grandmother Helm just passed away previous to that, weeks. And as I go into this deepness, I start thinking of my grandmother. She, you know, she helped raise me, and I've seen vividly her, and as a young child with her, and the many teachings and many times, and I started to away cry, because with my grandma comes my Uncle George Helm, being raised with him, comes my uncles that have passed, and I start remembering vividly of families that have no longer here. So I cry, and I get out, you know, I open my eyes, and I'm tearing, and I go back into the rat, and he comes around on the driver's, and he goes, what do you see? I said, sorry, I'm good. It was I failed the test, you know. And he goes, what do you see? I said, I see my grandma. I see my family, my mama. I see my family that is no longer here. And he looks at me, and he's staring, and then his look, his posture. And he goes, here you go. That's what I want to hear. You ready? Because when I hand Hokule'a to you in your generation, wherever you travel in this world, whenever your family, your Ohana is with you, you'll never get lost. You'll always know where home is at. And that is key. Wherever you go, that your family is with you. But when you forget your family, you forget your culture. When you forget your culture, you become empty. That is what I wanted to hear. You ready for the next? So it's Kawika channel. It's Molokai Hoe. There's a message that throughout my years that I can share is whenever you're answer, you need to feel that mana of your ancestors. They're waiting. They're waiting. They want to be called upon. They want to be on that pa'a with you. So that was one of, you can go many ways with that. You know, being blessed with that voyage. But those are one of the many lessons that I've learned from Hokule'a and my kupuna, my elders, and my teachers. To never forget, Johanna, where you're from, very foundation.
That's amazing. I got chicken skin. Hey, I grew up with. My dad was from Samoa, right? So one day I broke my wrist snowboarding, and went to my uncle Papaloa, and he was a medicine man, in Samoa, and so he massaged my wrist, massaged it, set the wrist back into place. I never went to the doctors, right? And then after that, every time, it's funny when you're saying, like, I was looking at the winds, and I knew it was days. I was just thinking back, like, because I grew up in the mountains in Big Bear area here in California, and every time before a rain or snow, my wrist would hurt. So I tell my dad, like, "Hey, my wrist hurts." He goes, "Oh, that's good. It's going to snow tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So that was my lessons growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right into what we're about to, with the Nabahine Okikai this past weekend. You could see literally the women. Of course, the women almost carried more than the men when they crossed that finish line. The love and the bond with each other, and, that mana that crossing the finish line. And of course, every race has its challenges. You go to the gorge, it has its challenges. You go to Catalina, it's different animals have its challenges. Of course, Habiki Nui is a whole different ballgame, and right up there in the echelon is great challenge. And when we hear when Navahine paddlers come up to us, organizers, ourselves and family, this is Mahalo Nui, with tears in their eyes. And as drained as they are, and with all the lays, and they hand over one of their lays to the organizers as well. And it's Mahalo Nui, thank you, because we know we thought years that this would never be done again, that we lost that part of us. And for us as Molokai, Aole, because the sport is growing, and if there's anybody that we talked to Joe, if there's anybody that is going to share the mo'olelo of our space, it's Molokai. And through those practices of Nabahine Okukai, Molokai was important for us to bring it back. And the story is, we're not just that of the past. Hey, we're still here. As Kanakas, as Polynesians, we're still here. We're not something you just read on a book and put in a museum. We're still alive. Our story is still being told. So it was important for us to still have Nabahine Okukai. And Molokai Hoe is next. Shalva'a. I get the text. It's Shalva register. Are they here?
Oh, they're coming for sure. No doubt.
Yeah, because I've been talking to David and some of the, I know David's going through his fun, but even Bala'ao and talking story and setting them up. They already got a place to stay and, vehicles and whatnot. In fact, Danny and I just had a text conversation today. And, for Danny is, oh, yeah, we going. We're not backing down. That's typical Danny. Everybody else is like, oh man, Shell's coming. Oh, I thought we could actually win them this year for once. Like, we want Shell to be there. We just make, there's Bora Bora, there's Team Bora Bora, that put together with Manateo Owen guys. They're coming. Team Are, Are Canoe put it together with team. They're coming. So there's 80 participants as of this weekend.
80.
80. Oh. 80.
That sounds about right.
Yep. And growing ever since, there's crews that they waited for Navahine to kind of see and kind of get a pulse. So there's this
the spooky teams.
Yeah, they're coming in, and I see the registration. I'm like, oh, okay, and hopefully, Kaiwi, for whatever it is, I'm pretty sure Kaiwi will deliver. If it's anything like the one man race, dang.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
Uncle, I don't know if you remember, but in years past, wouldn't they, because the Wahine and the Molokai Hoe, they're 2 weeks apart, right?
Mm.
I know the channel is always changing, but I want to say, like, was it something like historically, the conditions would be similar. It would always kind of line up to be like similar kind of conditions where, like, if it was flat for the Nauhine, it was kind of on the flatter side for the Molokai Hoe. I don't know if that's true or if you remember, but I don't know. I feel like there's a similarity or something.
Previous to the COVID, actually the women had a little bit more of the rougher conditions. When the Beach Boys won those couple of years.
Okay.
The Beach Boys right after that, Bradley. They had those conditions where the men's lucked out. But when you look at this one, it's funny. It's ever since the one man, Kaiwi's been firing consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really, once that North Shore come in and that north wind around the winter time, it kind of throws it off a bit. We haven't had that north wind. I mean, we've had a little bit of west northwest swell, but even with the swell, the one you wait for to kill everything is that north winds, consistent north cold winds, and that just kind of like it's nothing really firing, but
there's less molecules in the air.
Right. So what I'm saying, prior to literally 2 days prior to the Navahine, it kind of mellowed out, which it hasn't done in months. So they got the day after, it started nuking again.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
Missed it by 1 day. Like today, it's nuking. It's so you go, okay, let's go, Kaiwi, but be careful what we ask for, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend more rescuing guys than paddling, yeah.
Yeah, you always go, okay, ocean get ears, man. Kanalo get ears.
So you mentioned that there's 80 teams as of like thus far, right?
Yeah, as of Saturday.
Yeah, as of Saturday. I know this year, the Koa canoe, the Koa division has always been, it's always been a prestigious classification, right? Because that's what these canoes are modeled, designed after, right? And I know that there's more of a incentivification, right?
Yes.
Or they're incentivizing. That was a word. Was that the word that I
you said incentivification.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
I had to bring back the word incentivification.
Yeah.
I realized after the fact that I made up the word incentivification, so I
That's
had
okay.
to bring it
It
back.
worked.
But anyway, but yeah, so there's a prize purse, right, for the Koa division.
Right.
Do you know how many Koas are going to be entered this year, and what's your thoughts and feelings on that? Incentivizing that classification.
Oh, I think it's Molokai, and it's to perpetuate and just awareness of our kupuna, of our elder, which is a kokan. There's mixed feelings about that throughout the paddling community. As far as if the conditions are, the PV channel, if the conditions are big, which is common for. I know of clubs that are going to leave their koa on the beach, and top clubs that decided, they're still deciding, are we going to put our first team on the koa to go and, make a run, or are we going to put our first crew in glass and go after, shell down the top spots? So I know Lanikai is cool canoe worthy of paddling rough waters. I know Outrigger, their canoe is made for bigger waters. Um, there's only a handful, maybe there's five
Yeah.
clubs that in the state of Hawaii that is made for the canoe channel or for open ocean.
Okay.
Majority of it, yeah, maybe 90%, 80% or so of the coal canoes that clubs own are not made for open ocean. It's made for regattas.
Sprinting, yeah.
Right. So, but that's the whole premise of why Okra and it's Yanahan and Yamana Foresight is that they wanted to revive that and bring that back into the Molokai Hoe and Wahine. Put monies into it, the clubs where they can teach, the craft of building a whole, with our next generation.
There's a rumor going around that I heard that Uncle Sonny Bradley's been working on a Koa Bradley, and what I heard is that we're going to see it in the channel this year, but it's just a rumor, and I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, I haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. Who's gonna paddle it though?
I heard Shell's going to paddle it. That's what I heard. I heard Shell is going to paddle it across the channel. That's the rumor that's been flying around a little bit over here.
I gotta say this. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't heard that, but Shell's been extra quiet, on this.
Sneaky.
They've been extra. They've been on. It's like they did Catalina. Of course, they went the Air Tahiti race. I know, but I know they're coming to defend their Molokai Hoe with a vengeance. And they've been all business. They've been really dialed in, especially when they hear 80 crews. For them, when they hear 80 crews, they perk up.
Yeah.
They feel that they got to, defend the Ka'iwi. That's what they're here for. They like that. They like that. There's 80 canoes that are. Let's go.
I think that was the sentiment for them at Catalina too, was defending the previous year and their record crossing. I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
They take pride in that for sure.
They do.
So,
and, wow, that's news to me. And if that is, wow, that'd be awesome.
I've heard it around a little bit through some reliable channels too. So I don't know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be broadcast before the race or after?
It's going to be before.
Oh, before.
Oh, yeah.
You might be spilling something that
I know. I know.
Yeah, bro. The paddling community is big, but it's small. Once something gets out, it's like boom.
Yeah.
Hey, where do you guys paddling Koa? Hey, who tell you that? We heard it on Broadcast Braddahs.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you who told me. It was Kevin Olds told me. He's the one that told me that. Yeah. Because he's close to Uncle Sonny, and he also knows a lot of the Tahitian guys pretty well. And he's the one that told me. He goes, "Yeah, that's just a rumor that Uncle."
I think we might have lost Justin there for a brief one, but and there's also that video that aired during the broadcast. I don't know if you remember seeing him, Uncle. That Uncle Sonny he made his last Koa canoe. So there's video footage of it, out there. So
sorry,
no worries.
I dropped for a minute.
We lost you there for a quick second, but I was just telling Uncle that during the Wahine broadcast, they had a small segment on the new Koa canoe that was made by Bradley, by Uncle Sonny himself. Like, it was a video, it was a beautiful video. Just kind of him talking about like this, the tree was talking to me, right? And he kind of went, he pondered it for a little bit. So So it sounds like that canoe is out there, so we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be ready for the race, but So Uncle, your canoe is your home club is Lanikai.
Well, when I moved to Oahu, we moved to Oahu. I paddled with Lanikai last year. Epic. And I made the Masters crew with John Fody, Jim, and learned a lot. Previous to that, I lived on a big island, and I paddled with blessed to paddle with Bruce Ayal guys in that 50s crew, and
the Kona.
Yeah, we did. We won the Masters, and we were the second Big Island crew actually that finished the last Molokai Hoe. Red Bull was the first. We were the second. Actually, we beat the open. A lot of the open crews, all the open crews, and there was only one 40s that beat us, and we were 50s, and it was the Tahitians 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think we were like, I want to say 17th overall, 18th overall, but it was like, Hilani snuck up on us. We were out in the finish line with the open crew. But yeah,
nice.
And that's one thing about Molokai Hoe, and I know a lot of you paddlers out there that know that when you have, I spoke of paddling with Bruce Ayal, and I got to paddle steer, paddle with Huinalo and Bruce Blankenfeld and Jim Fody, on some races, some big races on Great Deep Sea, and during practices, you can work Crivello, and that's huge when you're crossing the TV channel when you're racing. The steersman is butter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's almost like half of your, your race right there.
Yeah.
With Bruce Ayal. Butter.
Well, so I was gonna say. So speaking of Karel, speaking of Lanikai and Big Island, and defending the channel, Shell is gonna make the return to defend their title. Of the top teams back home right now, I gotta mention the likes of Lanikai, right, who is steered by Karel. I want to say, right.
Lanikai Lanikai is one of them.
Yeah, they seem to be a force this year. I think of them, the Big Island boys mixed with, or the Wailea boys mixing with some of the Big Island boys, I should say.
Right.
And Kalahui Kai.
Kalahui Kai.
Yeah. Who are you, if you had to predict again? Right. This is coming out before the race. Who's your racehorse? Who you?
Oh shoot!
Who do you think stands the best chance
non-Tahitian?
To
non-Tahitian. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go non-Tahitian, then you almost gotta put KLK out of the equation, because that's, majority of that is Tahitians. I mean, real talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's when you add the Tahitians but I just looking at the Henry race. I mean, if you're looking at the last race and something with Big Ocean, and
that's always the big test before the race.
Right, the change race, escort boats, and you having all that logistical, and the not just Lanikai won, but the way they won and how much of a gap. You gotta say Lanikai. For me, I know Lanikai. I know the work that they've been putting in, and of course, you gotta put in Wailea in there. I think Chase is with Wailea.
Okay, I thought he was with Kalahui Kai for the.
Well, because I saw that post today.
Yeah. Okay.
He put that with Wailea practicing, so Daniel's not paddling Wailea. He had to step out for family.
Okay.
With Daniel Chan out, I think they grabbed him to replace. Now I'm like what you said, with Koa and Shell.
Yeah.
Rumors. This is Vala'au. That's just straight Vala'au right here.
Yeah.
So I say Wailea, of course, you Molokai, Kauai, leeward kai, leeward kai, they're always tough in a big ocean. They're going to be ready to go. But I gotta say the top would be Lanikai, Wailea, and the Big Island Boys. See what Kaihito is going to put together. That's going to be the with Kauai top three. Yeah. Am I missing anybody? No, that's yeah. No, I think Lanikai. Now this is my prediction and what I see and the way they've been putting in the work. Um, Lanikai is going to be batting.
They have a lot of big boys on that team.
This year they got length.
Oh, they have length. And I know you're saying that Kalahuika, they have Tahitian. I know they have one Tahitian, but their core is still there, right? They have was it Moihao, right? Is there
still it's Lanikai.
Yeah.
He's your Lanikai.
Speaking of length, right? You got him, Igor, right? They got a lot of big boys. So,
they got some young blood in there too. That's been that did well in the one man circuit. That as they progressed, we started seeing the results. Up there in the top 10. Consistently, and then you would see maybe 2 or 3 in the top 10 of Lanikai consistently.
Yeah.
When you see that and the broader picture, when you start seeing top 20, maybe 5 of them, top 10, 3 of them, you go, okay, Lanikai is up to something. Just on the off season, you start looking at it and you put it together, and when they're on the canoe and they peak right at that Molokai Hoe, you go, okay, something's up. And that's typical Lanikai, yeah. And every crew has their personality, yeah. That's typical Lanikai. Lanikai is a Ka'ibi channel, that's where they shine, yeah. That's way back from
the beginning. Yeah.
Kai, the Fody brothers,
right?
Yeah. That era.
Yeah, even before that, Mike Smith, Lambert, Rich Lambert. You talk about when they walk off the van and those winning days and they come down Halaron and everybody's rigging. They were the Shelva when the rental van opens and they walk
out. That was when there was Team Bud Light, right? Is that the team Bud Light, right? Yeah, they were sponsored by Bud Light. I remember back in the day. Yeah.
Bud Light and Kealoha, that's their. Yeah. And when they walk off the van, all heads turn. Like, oh man,
they're here. Yeah.
Okay, And then, with the Tahitians, everybody's excited to have Shalva'a back. And that's one thing about Tahitians when they come to race, that they're dialed in on the channel race. That's in the Tahitian, when they sit down and they vala'au amongst each other, it's always a world championship for Ka'ibi channel that they add with the Hawaii Canoe.
Yep.
They always talk about Ka'ibi champion. Kaiwi Channel World Champion, Hawaii Canoe World Champion, Kaiwi Channel World Champion. I've seen that firsthand.
Yep.
I've seen that firsthand in years. I'm paddling with Kaiopua, and right next to our canoe is Outrigger Canoe Club, and it was Walt Gill guys. And then right next to that is, Kaiopua's first crew. I'm with the second crew, and then on top of that is Fa'a. The year.
Oh yeah, the old school. Yeah.
With the dolphin ama, that was the first. The dolphin ama, and they were up perched on Halilona, ready to put their. After the ceremony, everybody's shaking hands. They tell it, hey, shake hand. Aloha, and then have a good one. Bruh, Outrigger goes to shake Fa'a's hand. They look at the hand. They look at Outrigger. They look at the hand. They look at Outrigger. They turn around. Like Jess.
Business.
Oh man. And they just like after the race, bro,
yeah.
Totally different. I mean, all the other guys sitting down next to them, having a blast, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a whole different, But I learned that for that's that it's life, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's life.
Well, when Shell was here for Catalina, they flew their own canoe in, and no one was allowed to touch it until after the race. So even though they wouldn't let a group of co-ed or Wahine paddle it to the island, they towed it over. It got set up in Catalina, and the men raced it back, and that was it. No one was allowed to touch that canoe, and that's just how they do things. They're like that.
Yeah. Mana.
Yeah.
But after the race,
the
best guys will be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're having plenty of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing the balance, and the just everything that goes into, what we do as paddlers. It's the there's just so many, the competitive aspect, but also the ohana va'a, just the community aspect, and it's I've never seen anything like it in the world. We're lucky. I always like to reflect on how lucky we are as canoe paddlers, that we get to, we do this in our free time, right? Justin and I we're talking about we started the Broadcast Braddahs, or as Kala'i Miller would put it, the podcast Palalas. And it's something, we're just having fun with it, just like how everyone has fun on the water, through competition. And but you gave us some really good news right when we got going. Can we share about that with the men's race? What you're going to be partaking in with T-Bear?
Oh yeah. They asked me if I'll be available for the race, and I'm not paddling this year. Life,
I know.
Sometimes every once in a while, it takes so much to sacrifice to be at that competitive level. What you go through your body and whatnot. But this year, just focus on opportunities and family, and so they got wind that I'm not paddling. So yeah, hey, you're not paddling. Hey, you like go, be our Kala'i Miller. Yeah, I'll be the face. I'll be, they scratching a bucket. They couldn't find anybody else. So
nah, that's not
So
true.
so are you gonna be in studio or on the water?
no, they asked me to be on studio. And I said wherever you guys need me. And Sienna texted me today with Salt and Air producer, the Terry. She texted me, said, "Hey, would you wanna, we would want to put you on the boat, because they're going to switch on the men's. According to them, they're going to be more emphasis on the live.
Yeah.
The women's, they did a lot of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
The Starlink didn't quite, hook up right, and at Halloween in order to start. So we got all that bugs out. So now it's going to be, the plan is it's going to be more from like what you guys
live and direct.
Yeah. Send me one, Broadcast Braddahs hat and
it's already in my bag. I already got them in my bag. Pack them already.
Bro, we will send it. We'll send it.
John, with his hat.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
But I'll be doing that. So my way of giving back to our Ohana Va'a, and
you have a lot of ways
to share that.
This is one of many.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. I'm excited to hear that. I think that's great. I think that, Joe and I were talking about rising tides, we all go, and we all put in our time and do it, and it makes the sport great. And that's what we all want,
Yeah. And Ohana Va'a.
Yep.
Ohana Va'a, and, mahalo for what you guys, truly mahalo, But you got two Polynesian brothers, and when I listen to you guys, I crack up because It's like talking story with my Molokai brothers, bro. Seriously. Put the canoe in, sit back, open one beer. Oh, bro, da 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 da. And almost same topics, and same lingo. Like, bro, the GoPro still going, never record nothing.
Oh, it's so good.
So true. It was epic. Kamala was epic today. Oh, bro, turn them on, bro.
It didn't count. It didn't count. Never see him on the GoPro. It didn't count.
You're all excited for put him on. You're gonna be the first one for put him on social media because he diving in some bombs and brother over there like, oh, bro, I never turn him on, bro. No. Oh, bro, Broadcast Braddahs right there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah. But,
Joe and I are having fun with this. It's we get to, the cool part is we get to talk to people like you, who are real important to the sport, and it's fun for us to get to, I was telling Joe, because same thing with me, I don't paddle, I don't compete anymore. I have my own little clubs, recreation, but it's mostly for my family. I take kids paddling, and I say this every episode almost, but for me, paddling's kind of changed the passion of trying to be a competitive paddlers turned into the passion of getting to sit down and talk to people in the sport and in the paddling world, or in the world of water, period. It's been a blessing, and it's been a lot. It's reignited a whole nother level of kind of brought back that that competitive feel again, but not competitive feel, but that feeling of like being in the mix and having fun. And
I wonder if it's like you look forward to, kind of like how we have this race this weekend. I'm looking forward to whatever event that you put the time in to prepare for.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I feel sometimes.
Guys, what was really for me kind of caught my attention and had me lean into it even more when I'm like, oh wait, Stevie's over there. Stevie's on the circuit too, and then you see Monate, and then you see Tupu, and like, oh, okay, let's tune in, and you guys would actually, live like shots of him and Danny, and battling, and Hititua and back, and so you get that live stuff that you don't normally get, and for us as paddlers, it's not just the front pack, of course, everybody's paddle, but let's be real, we want to see Stevie. We want to have close-ups on Stevie. We're picking nuggets, we're like watching him like, okay, why is he still And I've been blessed enough to have him ask me to, coach him across the year that he was leading. I don't know if you guys know, but did you guys hear about that?
No.
So we were leading. And I was on, Was
it the 2014 year, the flat year when he got pounded?
No. This was 2 years ago. This was when he was.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, and then
okay. Oh no, that was Rete. Sorry, my bad. Rete was leading that year.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Who slid in on the inside, and he actually broke his rudder. Danny won that year.
Yeah.
2
years ago when Danny won. Okay.
So he asked me to coach him across because if there's anybody that knows it, Ka'ivia, and we took off and came up right up, and we were running in the lead. And what happened was Stevie is, if you can stay in and have him stay focused as far as routes, but Stevie, he'll open it up after a point. He'll just go open, and that's Stevie,
Yeah.
Stevie will just, if guys come up next to him. So actually, he was battling with Tristan. It was Tristan that was up there with him. Danny guys were north, but they were behind with Kyle. Who's Kyle?
Tarfal.
Was it Kyle?
No, it was
Hikitua's cousin.
Yeah, I forget his name. Yeah.
He was on a kai canoe, a kai canoe.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a run. So we were south of him. He made a run. Yeah. My bad. I took Stevie a little too south, and when that north wind blew, it switched on us. And we were just making our move, And if we had 45 minutes of that same winds that was blowing, it was okay because we're tucked behind Coco Head after that.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
We get away from that wind. So that was my whole
You're in
thing.
the lee.
Oh, we're good. Okay, bump right. We're going to go right. Okay, now's the time. And we went, and within 10, 15 minutes, the clouds started. Yeah.
Okay.
I literally went. I can repeat it. I was on an escort boat, my head, and my heart just, and sure enough, the wind started like cranking from the north. And he put his head
upwind. Yeah.
Upwind. Danny guy just slipped right in front of us. And then we got in, they caught, that Mauna Lua Port Lock waves, yeah. They opened it up. But I got to watch him, though. I got to watch him from beginning to end, and his whole...
Mauna Tea Mion was second.
Yeah. No.
But it wasn't Mauna Tea that crashed on the rocks. It was...
that one guy that crashed. Yeah. Sorry, but Mauna Tea ended up finished second, though.
No. It wasn't. No? It wasn't Mauna Tea because Mauna Tea he stayed with me. Did Mauna Tea beat him, though? Well, anyway, I think Mauna Tea came in ahead of Stevie, fourth or something.
Yeah, I don't think that was Tristan. I think that was Mauna Tea who you were referring to earlier. I think.
No.
It wasn't. It was Tristan.
Oh, okay. It was Tristan. Mauna Tea was because we had him marked. We had Mauna Tea marked, and Mauna Tea was. Mauna Tea made a run because he went north, and we saw his escort, but we saw him go north, and he paid off.
Okay.
Yeah.
This past year, right? The just epic conditions. I was saying them all week long. I was like, I was telling Justin, I was like, hey, Tristan, it's gotta, what do you say earlier about the channel chooses? I was all Tristan. I was like, I'm always gonna pull for Danny. That's my coach, right?
Yeah.
But it was like Tristan, like something to he was there. This past year, that was a battle.
Oh man, yeah.
Hey, speaking of, you know what, Uncle? Speaking of Broadcast Braddahs, we had Tristan on for episode. We did an hour 30 minutes. Never recorded it. Yeah,
we had him on after
the solo, and we recorded we did a whole hour and a half. Never recorded 1 minute.
Hey, that almost happened this one too. Yeah,
I know. God, man.
Oh man, that would have been perfect.
I need a check. Yeah. I need a checklist right in front of me the whole time.
I gotta say this, and it goes in hand with Ohana. Tristan is such a humble, it feels good to see the next generation like that and the way they carry themselves.
100%.
Not just win, no matter of how they do it, and it's important. And when you see that, that's old school. That's old mana. That's old soul right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I met him at the Catalina this year. First time I met him after talking to him on the phone for an hour and a half and not recording it. But I met him and talked story with him for a good amount of time. Bro, I was like, this is a guy you could really spend time hanging out with. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah. It makes the uncles feel good.
There's hope, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them,
Yeah.
You have a lot of them coming up. And, one of my favorites is, I've always said, one of my favorites is Daniel Chan. You ever meet him, you ever sit down with him, lucky you get 2 words come out of him, but you put him in a canoe. Oof. Man, just a whole different. But that's that. Same with Tristan. Very quiet, real, nonchalant, and aloha. You put them on a canoe, and they just
monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're in good hands.
Right on.
Oh yeah, and we're in good hands with you tonight.
Yeah.
This was a treat.
Mahalo nui for having me. Yeah. And we come from that cloth, we all come from that cloth of Ohana giving back, of wherever we go around the road. And we have Kuleana, this sport is growing, our culture is growing, our traditions are growing. But to make sure that we're the ones also that is front and center than to share them all. And again, going back to not just how it's done and the manner of how it's done, it's really important. Molokai Navahine Okikai, a good example. With a lot of the paddlers, you see them hugging their hosts and families, and the whole families are there that hosted them in their homes just for the weekend. And the Wahine is crying. Top crews crying, hugging, like having a hard time. And they just met this family, for 2 days. And it's like, you see the hugs, like they just hold and see that just for us to see that. That's how it should be.
So that's what it's about. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Before I forget, I just want to truly mahalo the Molokai people, and use this platform. And I know, people from all over the world are listening, and I kind of want to use this to mahalo them. Mahalo Molokai. And not only Molokai, with the Molokai Hoe and Navi. Mahalo all the people that are really taking on this Korean many races around the world. Whether it's Catalina that organizes the Catalina, whether it's organized the Gorge or Liu, or there's one Ohana that behind the scenes. When you're behind the scenes and you actually see the work that these organizers put on, so that we can go and just be healthy and go make mo'olelo, go make memories. Mahalo them. For real, mahalo, all the organizers from all over the world. I think that's important.
Yeah. There's a lot of time involved in hosting canoe races and putting them together. And Joe and I, for Catalina, we got a taste of that, and not a lot of it, but we got enough for it. We know there's a lot that happens, and those races cannot happen without those people. And you have to be thankful to them.
Yeah, that's why we're lucky. We'll never take it for granted, And so shout out, and mahalo to all the, the next time, all of our paddling friends, the next time you see an organizer, I always try to, always make eye contact with Kelly, back
right
here. Hey, always thank her, like, hey, just pay my respects. Always give gratitude, just because a lot of these people do it on their free time. We all have our day jobs, and we were talking to Tupu last week about the professional paddlers and the systems, right? And there's a lot of people, in associations, whether it's here, back home in the islands, they spend time to try to create the best system that they can, for the paddling community, for our family and friends. So yeah,
right.
and mahalo to you, Uncle, for jumping on with us and taking the time. And I know you're a busy man, so
yeah.
Mahalo for having me. Yeah, well, we're over here. I got my phone over here, and I got Mario texting me from Team Oceana. I got Scotty Lanikai texting me. I got Alfred Van Giesen texting me. So this whole
hey,
you guys gotta wait.
to all of them, send our aloha from the Broadcast Braddahs.
I will. And then Jimmy Austin was the last one. Just texted. I'm like, brother, I get Alfred Van Giesen, Jimmy Austin, I get Mario. So anyway, that's and and one last thing. I think it's important to point out that we all been through a lot through the COVID, and it's one thing I picked up at the starting of the Navahine Okikai, and being you folks know, and I know that our paddling community, we know each other well, to a point to where I see one of the Wahines out there. I know her well. She lost her mother in the past 40 that we did. I see one over there lost her son.
Yeah.
Ever since I see one over there within this past 3 years that lost her son, that battled cancer. There's another one during the COVID that battled cancer. And there's so much mo'olelo in there that is unspoken, that when they cross the finish line, I see them at the finish. Just tears. It's not just the paddling. When they cross the KB channel is such a wonderful, one, it's not easy to do. And that in that voyage and during that time of 5-6 hours, for a majority of the cruise, 5 hours or so, that they're calling upon their loved ones. That they're paddling, you get tears dropping. That there's a time in that race that they so yeah. So now, of course, now the Molokai Hoe and same thing. Though men hide it much better, nonetheless, we all know that it's been a crazy 4 years during COVID, where many have challenges within the confines of their home, and what does that got to do with paddling? A lot, because that's their heal by, it's their healing, the ocean healing. As we Kanakas and Polynesians, we know that we saltwater people, that is our church, we come from the saltwater, and that is where we heal. So, what does that got to do with paddling and people losing their loved ones? Because it's healed, and Molokai Hoe is part of that. That healing, that opening up that pathway again, and for us to open that up and be a part of the healing process for many, not just the fires, many that have lost loved ones, and these that get to go and heal by. So, mahalo for having us.
Yeah.
Having us.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, great episode. Thank you so much for your time, and I know you're busy. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, and if the Broadcast Braddahs can help at all, please ask, because Joe and I are both always looking for a reason to go to Hawaii. So whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Now that Justin, of course, I know Joe for a long time. And when I say long time, his cousin Hawaii Loa. Cousin Hawaii Loa is, one that has no filter. Ku'e, very protective. Carry his, his father's legacy. And when I say I knew you a long time, our families go way back. And, now that I get to meet you, it's the same, It's the same, Now we become Ohana.
Yeah.
You know that whenever you come Molokai, you always have a home, you always have a Koila, you always have a truck all time. And like people say, oh, what? How you gonna pick me up? No, my truck's at the airport, the keys stay in the ignition.
Pick them up there.
Yeah.
That's Molokai, still the same.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep it that way. It's like, nah, Justin, right there, but just look for the white Chevy, right? Like 4x4, what kind? Get the sticker, the Makanali sticker.
What you mean? What do you mean? No convertible Mustang for me? What do you mean? You're talking about?
No, and you borrow, in other paddlers now, they borrow trucks, they borrow vehicles. The trick. Okay, you gotta pound the hood 2 times on the inside. Okay, and then when you shut the door. No slam them because the battery alternator.
the ground come loose. Yeah.
Yeah, take it out of the terminal. You can pop them out of the terminal and you slam them too hard.
Hey, welcome to Molokai.
Hey,
sounds like my kind of place. Yeah.
The very first time I drove a car was on Molokai, and it was an old Datsun. When Uncle Karl, for his celebration of life, we had to clear out the property. And had the last truck, this rusty old Datsun from like the 60s or 70s or whatever. And, I wanted to help. I was like, I'm like 11 or 12 years old. I was like, I want to help. And so they're like, hey, we're gonna tow the truck. Just drive the truck. You can, huh? I was like,
sure.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna turn that on. I didn't tell my mom, didn't tell my dad, just my cousin and my uncle said I could, so I just jumped back there, old school, that pulling with the tow strap and the flatbed truck. Yeah, I just keep tension, and needless to say, long story short, I almost crashed the thing, but it all worked out, and Turns out there was no brakes on it. The brakes didn't work, so
just got downshift and dropped the clutch.
That made it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about clutches back then. There was just no brakes, e-brake, nothing. Just did not work. But
the funny thing is when you listen to paddlers and they talk about Molokai and their experience, a lot of them sound like that, and it sounds like oh shit, I banged the deer and
yeah, totally, yeah. I got one of those stories too. Yeah, we all do. Yeah, so it's man.
And when you borrow vehicles, paddlers, when you guys out there and you come to Molokai, whether it's one man, whatever, when you borrow vehicles, get ready for do this. Every car pass by.
Yeah.
Because, they look at the car, the truck, on Molokai. So they think that's Kawika.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Whatever
just wave.
Just wave back. Yeah.
Just wave. Yeah.
Phone call and like, bro, I would wave to you, bro. What? No, even wave back here or something. That's not me, bro. Oh, okay. No,
that was Joe, right? He doesn't know.
And make sure you put gas in your rental cars too when you leave it.
Yeah.
That's another friendly reminder.
Yes, yeah, and it closes at 7 now. This is not, Molokai different. Everything closes down early, so you can go get your drinks and your hydration like that. No, go wait till 8 o'clock the night before the race because everything closed.
You're gonna be shut down,
yeah, and you're gonna be 4 o'clock in the morning waiting for top off your vehicle for go Halilona. Brother,
nobody's gonna be there.
Yeah.
O'clock, so the race gonna be starting.
And believe him, he knows because his family runs the gas station. So. You're getting it from the source. He runs the schedule himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my wife's, business. So yeah, we know that firsthand, and that's a central base out of Molokai. Yeah, Joe knows. Danny whenever can. Danny's like family. Danny's my mother-in-law. Whenever Danny comes, Danny has his literally his truck. Him and Leah and the kids, they have their truck, and it's like Tacoma 4-door, top of the line, And my mother-in-law has many vehicles, and she will go, no, Danny, that's yours. So even me, I look at Danny and go, oh wow, Danny,
must be nice.
I don't even get to drive that. Danny and Leah, that's truly that's so Ohana Ba'a,
Yeah.
Uncle L and my father-in-law were close. So again, there's that generation that then it goes to us and Danny, and then when the kids are old enough to come to Molokai, if we choose to, and that is where then our kids and our grandkids reciprocate that.
Yeah.
So it goes from generation to generation. That's Ohana Ba'a.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, brother, you want to take us home?
Yeah, brother. Again, thank you so much, and just like you said, we never know how to say goodbye, but
we never know.
Yeah, we've been an hour and 40 minutes, and Uncle Kawika's got a lot of work ahead of him. So, everybody who's gonna race the race, enjoy the race. Thank you, Uncle, for having us on or coming on with us and spending time with us, and it's been a pleasure. And I would really love to do another episode after the race, to kind of unpack your experience, on the broadcasting side, and talk about what you saw during the race live. Because when you see it from the boat, obviously you've escorted plenty of times, but when you see it from the boat, it's a lot different than what we see on TV. So it would be fun to kind of unpack that a little bit with you and talk story about your experiences. Talking about paddling while paddling is going on, because that's a whole like you said, content for 6 hours, hard to get. You gotta dig deep.
This is easy, when we with brothers and so I'm normally on the canoe. This is the first time I'm actually going to be, doing what and I'm blessed. I'm fortunate to be asked and honored. But I kept hearing you guys doing Catalina when you guys were, with Chiaba'a. Oh well, Justin.
Yeah.
They covered they covered you guys maybe the first couple hours, and then it was with Shell, and I heard you keep saying and mentioning, there's one thing about seeing them on camera but it's another thing actually being right here and watching.
Yeah.
So I get to experience that.
Yeah.
I think unless it's on a kilo up front, and you never know.
You never know. The channel
You never know.
Well, anyways, guys, thank you again, and have a wonderful night. And thank Auntie for allowing us an hour and 40 minutes with you, Uncle, and Joe. Thanks for getting this lined up. It's really, really good conversation. I'm really stoked. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys. That was beautiful. Mahalo.
Yep. All right. Next time, Broadcast Braddahs come back. Good luck to you. Good luck to everybody racing, and aloha.
Yeah, I'll see you on Molokai, Joe.
Sounds good, Uncle.
We'll get you one of these, Uncle. We'll get you one of these. Don't worry. Okay, guys.
Aloha.